Morning YouTube family, T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, back out on Lake Lavon trying to finish up our, or not finish up, but continue our Discovering the Lake Lavon series. I think I talked to you guys about this before. I really struggle on this lake. You know, I used to really struggle on Hubbard too, and it took me a few years to figure that one out. So now I'm kind of gonna shift a little bit of my attention over to Lavon. I don't know too much. I get frustrated out here a lot, but today I'm gonna go up on the east side of the lake. I'll show you some of the points that I'm gonna be hitting. So I'm gonna go up there by that Elm Creek area. I'm gonna fish that levee that's up there. There's also a little point that comes out. Looks like it might have like a little island or something there, so I'm gonna try that as well. And then I got a couple different points I'm gonna try. If I don't get anything deep in the first 2 hours, it's about 8:30 right now. We just had storms come through, so I've got a little bit of patch here between 8:30 and 2 to go fish. So I'm gonna spend about 2 to 3 hours deep and 2 to 3 hours shallow, unless one of them just kicks on immediately, and then I'll just stick with that pattern the rest of the day. So let's start off. Let's go up here by Elm Creek. We're gonna make the run up to the east side. We're gonna go up there, we're gonna find that levee and scan around that levee and see what we can find. And then from there, we'll go down, we'll fish that little point that I was telling you about, and then we'll just start kind of working our way back down until we get back down here by the dam. So wish me luck, man. Hopefully we can get this done and get you guys some good fish catches today. Here we go. All right, so let me tell you what I'm doing here. So you can see this little island right here, right? So I'm gonna scan around this island. I'm gonna go back in there in that little cut right there. I'm also gonna scan here and scan on top of it. And we're gonna see what we can find out here. If that doesn't work, then I'm gonna come up here where this levee is and see if I can find anything up around that area. So let's give that a whirl, see if we can find anything, and hopefully we can get some fish on the lure. Here we go. All right, so I showed you guys that little island. I scanned around. I actually found some fish over on the very front side when we were coming up to it, just right off the edge. So it looks like there's a bunch of white bass mixed in there too, though, and I think there's some largemouth down there, but it's so hard to tell when those white bass get in there. But anyways, I'm gonna throw this jig down there, mess around for a little bit, see if I can get a bite. If that doesn't work, I'll throw the Carolina rig, and I might throw my crankbait down there too. In fact, I might even start with my crankbait and see if these are white bass. If they are all white bass, they'll attack that crankbait, and I'll know pretty quickly. So let's throw some out there and see if we can get some on the hook. I wasn't expecting the water to be up this high. I thought I tied on the right crankbait, and I did not. I need to go deeper. Mine only goes to 10. All right, you guys remember me talking to you guys about this color, right? Don't forget about this color. Even if I suck today and I don't catch anything, of course it starts raining on me now. It's not supposed to rain today. This color, don't forget. Money! All right, she's tied on and ready to roll. Let's go. I wasn't expecting to rain. Now I gotta modify my GoPro, so I'll be back. Well, kind of quick update. I'm pretty sure these are all white bass. They're not biting any type of largemouth bass lure, and the way they're grouped up, it just doesn't look right. But there are some big ones that are like suspending. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe lure them in with a spoon real quick and see if these bigger ones might be largemouth that are mixed in. But my guess is this spot's gonna be a bust. We're gonna have to move on. So let's give this a whirl. I'm not even gonna throw the jig because the fish that are here aren't down on the bottom. They're actually kind of mid column. So let's give it a whirl and then we'll move on. Well, we tried the spoon. That didn't work. In fact, the more that I sat there and fished with that spoon, the higher up in the water column those fish continued to get. So they're definitely white bass. So we're gonna run up here. I'm gonna check this levee, see if there's anything on there. I'm not gonna spend too much time there. And then you know what? I'm gonna have a change of plans today. I'm gonna start fishing these boat ramps. I've got my Simplistic Fishing card, so I might as well take advantage of it. So I'm gonna start fishing rocks and boat ramps and focus on that with some shaky heads and things like that. I've got to get a bite. So let's do that. Let's run up here to this levee, check it real quick, see if it's the same thing as this one. I'm not even gonna waste any time. I'm just gonna run back down the lake just a little bit here and start fishing these ramps. So here we go. All right, guys, so I happen to be driving down the map, and I don't know if you can see that ridge right there. I was driving down the lake, but I saw that little ridge there on the bank line, and it looks like an old roadbed. What's weird is that hummingbird's not showing it as a roadbed at all. But I went ahead and stopped here, and I'm scanning around, seeing if I can find anything. I've seen a lot of bait activity around here. There's a little bit of rock off of here as well. Looks like some stumps. So I'm just gonna scan around some more, and we may actually stop and fish this. I'm not totally sold yet whether this is a roadbed or what the heck this is, but it definitely is like a little bit of a hump or something going on out here, ledge or something. But I'll keep you updated. All right, so quick update. I decided to stop and fish this. This just looked pretty good. So I'm gonna hurry up and tie on a, well, actually I'm gonna throw that crankbait real quick. Then I'm gonna throw a Carolina rig and probably a jig and see what I can get. But even if I don't catch a fish here, this looks like a pretty good place. I'll have to show it to you guys on the map when I get back to the house, but definitely can't tell. If I wasn't looking at the bank line when I drove by here, I would have never known this was here. So anyways, let's do this. So everything that I'm seeing on the screen is saying that everything is suspended like 10 to 12 feet, which is kind of strange. All right, so you can see here, I'm headed over to where this down tree is. See if I can find it over there. If I can, we'll fish around it with some shaky heads or Texas rig. We'll figure out something, that jig, see what we can find. And then we're gonna go up here to this ramp up here and try that. And then we'll probably scoot across if we can. I don't know if we can or not, and go over there. If we can't, we'll kind of keep going down. So let's see what we can find. I also like these two road beds right here. See these road beds in Elm Creek? I want to go check those out. So stay tuned, we'll figure it out. So you can see the down tree there in front of us. Before we get there, I'm gonna swing the boat over here a little bit. We got some trees over here that look really interesting. They're all flooded. So I'm just gonna run over here really quick and flip this jig in there and see what we can find. Maybe we'll get lucky. It's like sight fishing, deep fishing, every kind of fishing. You can tell I'm totally freaking lost on this lake 90% of the time. I mean, I've got my honey spots, but I've talked to you guys about my spots before. I don't think we've ever produced over 15, 16 pounds out here in Lavon, and that's not going to cut it. They get 20-pound bags out here all the time. So there's good fish out here. We just got to keep searching for them, see if we can find some kind of pattern, and then maybe if we can find a pattern, we can start putting together where the bigger ones are. But right now it's just hunt and peck, hunt and peck. Eventually we'll figure it out. All right, so I flipped those trees I thought looked really good. Didn't get any bites there. Came in here, flipped around that down tree. That down tree that I marked on there, it's pretty shallow. It's only about 1.5 feet, 2 foot. Again, could be a potentially really good springtime area right in here, but I think summertime, that might just be just a little bit too shallow. The water's a little bit too warm. Yeah, there's you might find 1 or 2 in there, but that's it. But didn't find any today. So now we're on down the lake. I think our next stop is a boat ramp. So we're gonna go fish some boat ramps with some wobble heads and shaky heads, and hopefully we can get a bite. I need a bite. All right, so we have arrived at our next boat ramp. First fish of the day, finally, off these rocks. So that's a good sign, boys. At least we finally got a fish out here. This thing's not, I don't even know if he's gonna keep. Probably about 14 inches. Yeah, he'll keep, definitely. 15, not too bad. Finally got one up off those rocks. At least off to a good start, right? Actually, you know what? He may not keep. Anyways, good sign. Finally got a bite after a long 2.5 hours. Good news is I also have some rocks out here that I've marked for you guys that are deep, so we could try these shallow rocks. Although this isn't really that shallow. I'm in about 9 foot of water out here. Anyways, we can try these shallow rocks, we can try these ramps, and we can try those deep rock piles too. Alright. First boat ramp. See how we do. Well, that one wasn't too bad. At least we got a fish off of it. Not a very big fish, but at least got something. So let's keep working this pattern just for a little bit longer. Let's run some more of these ramps and things like that and see if we can continue to get bites. For some reason, the bite just totally shuts off, and that was some anomaly. Maybe we'll go, I don't know. I don't really know what we're gonna do, but we'll figure it out. All right, so pulling up here, the rock pile that we fished was down here. That was a pretty good spot. Saw lots of bait, lots of activity. So I imagine if we would have stayed there long enough, probably could have caught a few more. So now we're gonna move up here to this boat ramp right up here. We're gonna try that. It's right here in front of me. And I don't see any other rocks around or anything, so this one should be pretty quick. Go up there, 10, 15 casts on this boat ramp, and then we're gonna bail out and go to our next spot. And I wanna go up here. See where this roadbed is right here? I wanna go up there and check that out too, so stick around. All right, so I'm at my next spot, which is a boat ramp. I'm seeing activity again, lots of bait fish and stuff like that. So cross your fingers and we can get on some kind of pattern here today. I am going to fish the boat ramp first, and then we're gonna go down those rocks and see if we can pick them. All right, so I went up on the east side up there by Elm Creek, fished a couple boat ramps that we had marked there, some of the lay downs. I flipped a little bitty section of bushes, didn't have any bites there. Really struggling today. The only fish I've caught is that little bitty small one that you guys saw me catch. So I'm not gonna bail on the boat ramp stuff completely. I'm still gonna go scan by them and just see if I see anything other than white bass. I feel like today, if I was white bass fishing, I could have caught 200 fish by now. It's like everywhere I've stopped has just been loaded with fish, but I can't seem to get the largies, so it's starting to kind of get to me, but that's what this lake does. This lake frustrates the heck out of me, which is why we're doing this series, rediscovering Lake Lavon, because there's got to be somebody out there in YouTube land that is experiencing the same thing as me. So share me your tips and tricks, please. This lake frustrates the hell out of me, but I'm going to share mine and I'm going to figure it out. It might take me a couple of years, but one way or other, we're going to get you guys on some fish. So stay tuned. We're going to hit some more spots. Well, I didn't make it very far. I was just going down. That ramp I left is probably only about 1,000 yards away. But I was going down and I noticed on my markings on my simplistic stuff, it said that there was a rock pile here. So came by and scanned it, and it looks really good. Can't see that many fish on it, but there's definitely fish in the area. So let's give it a little whirl. We'll give it it's 11:12 right now. We'll give it 10 minutes to see if we can catch a fish. Let's go. Catching something. These aren't the ones I want. That largie's the one I want. But sometimes you gotta weed through these stupid guys. Get what you want. I mean, he got like all 5 hooks in there. Look at that stupid fish. Oh man, where's Dano when I need him? He'd eat you. He would eat you. You'd be dead out, buddy. But luckily for you, you bit my lure, not Dan's lure, so you get to go home today. Just go tell your largemouth buddy that I'm looking for him. Medium diver for about 10 casts. Throw the shaky head, about 10 casts, then we're gonna get out of here. What I've done basically, I've lined myself up parallel with that 10-foot mark where I was seeing all those fish. Actually, I'm at 9 foot right now, but when I cast out, I'll be at 10. I'm just gonna try to run it down that ridge. we go. Fish on. Oh, that's a nice one, boys. He just came off. Damn it. Goodness me. Hoping you guys can see this right here in front of me. You see all this wash up right here? Just interesting. It's like little pebbles and stuff. I've seen a lot of fish around it. I think they're bluegill. But if they're bluegill, that means the bass should be somewhere in this area. We're definitely seeing a lot of fish right on this bank line, right in this area. And a crap load of fry. Man, I wish you guys could see this. That's the fry right there. A lot of shad going on in this area. I'm liking this spot, guys. I don't want to spend the whole video sitting here trying to catch a fish here. You know, the fact that I hooked into one's cool, and I just came over here by this little pebble area that I was telling you about. It looked really interesting, and basically when I got over there, the first thing I saw was that big huge thing of fry. So that means there's a lot of bait here. There's probably some largies in here. We know we got that one, we got the white bass, so there's some action going on in this area. And I'm seeing fish come up to the top too, like, you know, bait fish getting scattered around and stuff like that. So I like it. If we were prepping for a tournament, I would definitely put this one on my spot to stop by and take a look at. The other one, probably not. This is probably the only one, just because you know, the quality of the fish that was a really nice fish in a very predictable place. So those are the kind of places that you'd like to go to. My issue today is I get one and I'm done. I get one and I'm done. At least I got one and then a white bass, so that helped. But what didn't help is I didn't get that fish at the boats. I can't really count it, so really it's like 1 1/4. 1 1/4 with a white bass. Today is about exploring, not necessarily catching a ton of fish. So I would love to catch a ton of fish every time I go out. But I know that when I go out and I'm doing these exploring videos, you know, you don't know if I'm going to catch anything or not, because I'm hitting spots I've never fished, and I'm on a lake, number one, that gives me. You guys are seeing it all right here, tried and true. What happens when I get on the lake that I'm not comfortable with, and you get to see how long it takes me to try and figure it out. And you know, if you guys are paying attention, really, this is kind of how we do it. You know, for the THSBA stuff, we spend several days on the lakes ahead of time, just exploring the lakes, exploring different spots, looking around, doing what I'm doing here, just kind of fishing around. And every time we get a bite, we mark it on the graph. And then we usually, you know, we'll see if we can get another bite. If we get 2 bites, that's really good. And then what we'll do is we'll come back maybe the next week after we get a bunch of these spots marked. We'll try to get, you know, 15, 20 spots marked where we caught fish. Then after that, we start narrowing down that spot. So we start going back to these spots again as it gets closer to the tournament, and really narrowing in what we're looking for. So we figure out what pattern we're on. We kind of eliminate the other spots that were marked that weren't on that same pattern. And then from there, we really start knocking it down and getting down to where typically by the time we get into tournament day, we usually have about 8 to 9 spots. That'd be a great tournament. On the you know, the normal tournaments, I'd say we probably usually have like 5 really good spots, so we'll work those 5 spots. And there's been times when we've only had, say, 2 spots, you know, 2 spots that we felt confident in. And in that case, in a tournament, you know, our style is a little bit different. We'll set there because we know they're going to be there at some point in time, and so we'll wait them out a little bit longer than we would if, say, you know, if you're doing this right here, I usually give it 10-15 minutes. If I don't get a bite, I usually bail out. But come tournament day, if I know there's fish there, I'm going to sit there for a good half hour at least before I start telling the boys, you know, it's time to go. But we've had times where we've sat on a spot for an hour, hour and a half with no bites. I'm about to lose my mind, and Landon's, you know, telling me just wait it out, you know they're going to be here. and immediately after that we start getting fish. So I don't know if that's the right way or the wrong way. You know, some people say give these deep spots 10 to 15 minutes and move on. I've seen it work both ways. I've seen people sit there, especially Landon, sit there for an hour to an hour and a half with no bites, and then all of a sudden win a tournament off that spot. So you just don't know. You don't know when they're going to show up. A lot of it's a guessing game. For me, I'm a 10 to 15 minute guy. I give it 10 to 15 minutes. If I don't see a bite, then I'm out. If I get a bite, then I reset the clock for another 10 to 15 minutes. And that's kind of the method that I use as I'm going through it, and kind of the method we use in pre-fishing. Now, obviously, again, we get into tournament fishing, all different ball game. I am not going to just go to a spot, waste 10, 15 minutes, and then leave. I'm not going to waste all the gas running around, and I can't waste all that time with my line out of the water. So when we get in those tournament situations, it is all about finding those honey holes that we have picked to be honey holes for that tournament, and just honing in on those and really focusing on them. So anyways, hope that helps you. Let's get on to the next spot. Got a decent one there that came off in the white bass, so we know that's a good spot. Let's see what we got on the rest of the lake. Here we go. I told you, white bass fishermen, you should follow me. I get up here, first thing I see, flickering shad, white bass. By the way, that 3 or 4 pounder that jumped off was that color. I'm telling you, that color, doesn't matter what brand you get, but that color is just muddy. I think I've talked about it in some of my other videos. It's something special about it, I don't know. You see all the you watch the pros, and they'll use it like everywhere, all across the country. It's not just a Texas thing, it's like an all across the country thing. Kind of makes you wonder how I missed that for so many years. All right, nothing there, let's move on. Over I've had bigger fish, definitely had a lot of white bass. This is an interesting spot as well. You can see all these tires. There's a little bit of like a ledge going on right there. I'm going to fish around this area. Let me kind of show you guys where this is at. I don't know if I think we marked this on the simplistic fishing thing, but over here is that power plant down in here, and I'm actually just right there. You can see my boat right there. But anyways, let's give this one a whirl. But I wanted to show you that because this is a really good deep spot. I've caught a lot of fish in this area before. You know, don't know if I'll catch anything today. Today seems like being a rough day of fishing, but definitely worth giving a whirl if you come over here. Well guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day there. You know, just had a really tough day today trying to find the bite. Only had those 2 bites. I missed that nice one on the crankbait, and then I caught little Timmy and a white bass. So not a lot of action today. You know, kind of had the same experience on Hubbard yesterday too. I struggled out there as well. Went up in the river and just sucked. And then came out in Chandler's, caught a couple Timmies, and then called it a day. Didn't even give you guys that video. So wanted to kind of share this with you guys. I hope that hope you don't hate me for watching this whole thing, because I really didn't have a lot of action. But check out those spots that we talked about, especially this spot right here behind me by this power plant. I've caught plenty of fish here before. Just because I didn't catch them today doesn't mean that they're not going to be there. So continue to go out there and look. And that rock pattern really seemed to kind of be maybe the thing on Lavon. I mean, I only got a couple bites, so it's really hard to tell, but I got nothing in the brush. So as far as what I learned today was basically just stay away from the brush, continue to focus on these rocks, and eventually I'm going to be able to put together some kind of rock and other pattern that's going to unlock this thing. So we'll probably have the same pattern for about another month and a half or so. So I've got plenty of time to try and figure it out. We'll just see if I'm able to pull it off or not. So hey, congratulations on sticking with me and watching me on a struggling day. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos and everything. Truly appreciate the support. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button down below. And until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take care.